From ingesting paint, soap, and chalk to chowing down dangerous things like glass and razor blades, here are 24 most unbelievable things eaten by humans. 24. Chalk. It's generally considered to be non-toxic, but ingesting it can result in nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Now, there are people who have become addicted to eating white chalk in particular, consuming up to 8 sticks a day. Experts say it's an example of pica, an eating disorder that compels people to eat non-food substances, and you'll encounter a few more cases of pica as we continue with our list. 23. Mothballs. There are people who like to inhale the smell of mothballs, maybe you're one of them, but there are others who take it to the extreme and actually eat them. But mothballs contain a chemical called naphthalene, the active ingredient that actually kills the moths. Inhaled or ingested, it can cause a narcotic effect as well as headache, nausea, and vomiting. Consuming large doses of the objects can even result in a coma. 22. Bed springs. Now, it's understandable that prisoners would want to escape from the cells, but at a prison in North Carolina, the inmates are known to regularly swallow foreign objects like bed springs. It's all in an effort to make it to the hospital for some quality time. 21. Head cheese. Despite the name, this is not a dairy product. Rather, it's a cold-cut meat jelly that's made from the head of a calf or pig. More often than not, the brains, ears, and eyes are removed. Well, you wouldn't want your food looking at you while you eat it, now would you? 20. Please don't eat the shaman. Ever had a yen for a quick snack of toilet paper? Well, it sounds weird, but there are thousands of people addicted to eating the material. Some people are known to eat up to a roll each day, but eating this stuff can result in some long-term health problems. The paper can get wadded up in the gastrointestinal tract and stomach, creating an indigestible mass that has to be surgically removed. 19. Toothbrush. Now, here's one you don't see too often, but we did find where a woman in Israel managed to swallow a toothbrush while leaning over the sink to brush her teeth. When she went to the hospital, the object did not show up on x-rays, so doctors just went on and sent her home. But after experiencing acute pain, she went to another doctor, and the object was located and was later removed, which certainly put a smile on her face. 18. Dryer sheets. Attracted by the fragrance, people have been compelled to actually bite into dryer sheets to savor the flavor. In some cases, addicts consume up to 8 sheets each day and claim to suffer withdrawals if they don't get the fix. Although they smell nice, it's all due to a mix of chemicals in the material, and those chemicals can prove toxic over time to the human body, even resulting in lung cancer. 17. Paint. Even with all the warnings, it seems to be something that a lot of kids have done at some point. Eat paint, that is. The warnings, though, are there for a reason. Ingesting paint can lead to lead poisoning, slow mental and physical development in children, as well as irreversible brain damage. Whether it's children or adults, eating paint chips can even result in fatalities in certain cases. 16. Some of us have been threatened to have our mouths cleaned out with soap, but there was a 19-year-old woman in Florida who was so stressed out that she started eating nearly half a dozen bars of soap a week. Oddly enough, she was a nursing major, yet ignored all the warning labels and her own medical knowledge. She later sought help and managed to cure her soap addiction. To say the least, she was clean inside and out. 15. Batteries included. Hard to believe, but sources indicate that more than 3,500 Americans swallow batteries every year. Now, if mercury contained in the battery escapes into the bloodstream, it can result in renal failure. And that's due to gastric acids in the stomach corroding the outer layer of the battery and releasing the poison. Now, some good news is that due to the large number of people ingesting the objects, batteries are now designed to resist the effects of acid better. 14. Comfort food. Eating the foam from a latte is something you might do, but how about eating foam from inside your couch cushions? A woman in Florida claims to have been eating the foam for more than 20 years, often ingesting the cushions up to 15 times a day. Now that eventually resulted in her lower intestine being blocked by a mass the size of a grapefruit, all made of cushion foam. Now she did recover and is receiving treatment for her condition. 13. Household cleansers. It seems like eating cleaning products like Karma to Ajax would certainly make you ill, but there are people who are addicted to eating the powdered substances. A case was documented where a woman eats household cleansers around 10 times per day and has been doing so for over 30 years. 12. Magnets. If you think that eating magnets will give you a magnetic personality, you got the wrong idea. A 3-year-old girl in Portland, Oregon swallowed an incredible 37 buckyball magnets. Now those are desk toys for adults shaped like little spheres. But it was no game for this girl. After falling ill, she was rushed to the hospital where x-rays revealed her stomach contained a circular chain of the magnets. The objects ripped 3 holes in the lower intestine as well as a hole in her stomach. 11. Shoe polish. So how about topping off your meal with a nice dollop of shoe polish? Well, that sounds weird, but it's actually practical. Po Zoo shoe cream is made from 100% organic virgin coconut oil from Sri Lanka. Not only for shoes, the cream has multiple uses, from being a hair conditioner to cooking to even eating it on a cracker. 10. Razor blades. Now here's the type of object that might be swallowed by a magician, but there was a Desert Storm veteran who took a dare from a buddy to swallow some razor blades. However, the blades perforated his stomach, requiring surgery to remove. This might seem obvious, but it bears repeating. Razors will definitely cause major damage if ingested. 9. Cigarette ashes. Now, some people become addicted to the practice of eating cigarette ashes because they like the salty and gritty taste and texture. In the case of a woman named Bianca, she doesn't smoke, but her sister does, so she gets her fix from her. The addiction to cigarette ashes started off as a fixation with eating pottery. 8. Tapeworm. Now, there's all types of fad diets out there, but there's one called the tapeworm diet that kind of takes things to an extreme. You swallow a pill that contains a tapeworm egg inside it. The creature grows inside you and eats whatever it is that you're eating. Now, since the tapeworm is eating all the food you're eating, you can chow down all you like and still lose weight. After a time, the dieter takes a medication that kills off the tapeworm. Now, that's the theory anyway, but some dieters have reported nausea, fever, and bacterial infections from ingesting those tapeworms. 7. Stick a fork in it. Now, it's not exactly what you'd find on most menus, but a woman in Israel was cleaning her home when a flying cockroach sailed right into her mouth. Now, when she tried to remove the insect with a fork, she accidentally swallowed the utensil. It lodged sideways in her stomach and had to be surgically removed. However, she was able to digest the cockroach, so not a complete loss. 6. Gold pills. Have you ever wished you were so rich you could just poop gold? Well, you know what, now you can, providing you have a spare $425. That's the cost of a special pill that is filled with 24-karat gold leaf. Now, they are totally edible, and they just might add some extra bling to your bowels. 5. Glass. You might be familiar with stories of people who are able to eat glass and apparently suffer little, if any, physical damage from doing so. Now, some professional magicians like Todd Robbins eat glass as a part of their act, but even he says that it has taken a toll on his health. Although he follows a strict diet of herbs and fiber that allows him to better process the glass, several of his teeth have cracked from grinding the glass shards. And there's no degree of control when eating glass. Since there's no way to know where the sharp fragments will go, it can be a bit like a form of Russian roulette for several days. In other words, best to leave this sort of thing to the professionals. 4. Human ashes. While many of us might long to be closer to our spouses, this practice might be a bit much. After her husband died, a 26-year-old widow was transferring his ashes to an urn. When some of the ashes spilled, she decided to taste them, and that led to an addiction for tasting her late husband's ashes that is so strong she carries the urn with her wherever she goes. She says that eating the ashes of her husband gives her a degree of comfort. 3. Coins. It's not unusual to hear about people swallowing coins, but doctors in France found a man with a small fortune in his belly. Some 350 coins valued at $650 were located, along with assorted needles and necklaces. In all, the objects weighed around 12 pounds. His family claimed the man had been stealing and eating coins for more than a decade. Although doctors were able to remove the contents from his damaged stomach, the man died less than 2 weeks later. 2. Rapunzel syndrome. Now that's a reference to a condition where people are compelled to eat their own hair. In the case of an 18-year-old woman in Chicago, it turned out to be a fatal condition. Doctors discovered a hairball in her stomach that measured more than 15 inches long and weighed more than 10 pounds. The mass of hair was indigestible and had to be surgically removed. And later, the woman confessed that she had been eating her own hair for years. 1. Metal objects. An Ethiopian man was discovered to have 222 metallic objects in his stomach. Now that round number was comprised of nails, hairpins, door keys, coins, and watch batteries. Just about everything on a list, isn't it? Well, in all, more than 1.6 pounds of foreign objects were found within this guy, with some of those nails measuring almost 6 inches long. Doctors estimated he must have been eating the objects for more than 2 years and were totally amazed that his stomach had not been perforated.